Hey, good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Yes. And how are you today? Today is January 21, 2026. Boy, I'm not even sure what time it is, but I think it's after 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I went to bed early. Um, and when that happens, I wake up early also. Um, and I just started to watch some videos. And I want to talk about two topics today. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot, and I noticed like the videos that I'm referred to, it's heavily on certain topics. The chaos in Iran, and now also I'm getting videos about the state of America, where I'm from, and the crisis with a particular demographics. And a big part of this demographics is in Minnesota. And so that's what I want to talk about today. These two, that topic about this demographics in the US and a and Islam. And there seems to be, in Iran, some things that are happening. So I'm going to first talk about, in particular, um, we have a large population in Minnesota, and many of the people are from Somalia, or they might be, somebody's parents might be from Somalia. I've met Somalians, boy, back in 1982 when I was in college. And so I knew about them. Um, yeah, and I also had an experience, boy, was in the 1990s in New York City with a Somalian person. So what is it all about? Well, I heard, yes, hello, Vera. Good morning to you. Well, I want to talk about what I just heard in a video that the present administration in America, if I heard right, this coming March 2026, any naturalized citizen from Somalia who is caught robbing the government will be deported. Wow. And yeah, I just was watching it. I was watching a YouTuber who I've never met before, and I think the individual, uh, she was a native South African woman based on her accent, and she was discussing, sharing video clips of people's responses to the current American administration and about the deportation. And how do I feel about it? You know, I feel wonderful. I feel so wonderful about it because, see, why do I feel wonderful about it? I feel wonderful about when someone opens their eyes and calls a spade a spade. When you allow someone in your home, yes, hello, viewers, good morning to you too. Good morning. Yeah. When someone is invited to someone's home, your home is sacred. And when you are invited in somebody's house, that, there's certain rules of etiquette, you know, conduct, and the person that's allowing you in is assuming that you're going to have that etiquette or to have respect for that person's home. Okay. And I've been hearing for a couple of months now that you have this fraud going on, this alleged fraud, I should say, alleged fraud. And this individual, this reporter, independent reporter, had his documents, the documents to uh, prove his questioning regarding alleged theft. But it was theft of such a grand scale, a grand scale. And it's so extensive. And it was even suggested that it might be the largest fraud in American history. Now, yes, it's potentially in the billions with a B as in boy, billions and billions of dollars. I've seen videos of people um, taunting its viewers that good for America, and good for in particular white America, that it seems to be justifying that, they want America and white America in particular, that you have to work hard so that they don't have to. And I listened and I said to myself, OMG, I'm shocked to hear it. And I don't know whether it was an AI video, because, we have things like that now. But I get the impression that it was real content. But either way, to have the label to come into a country because you're crying refugee and you're seeking refuge because your own country is harming you, or some faction in your country, home country, is bothering you, uh, unaliving you, or hurting you, some violation, some severe violation, and you're forced to leave. And you come into the strong arms of a nation that's very, very generous. America is a very generous and wealthy nation, extremely so. It is far from perfect. And I had left America because I was in danger with the current population in my neighborhood. I was physically assaulted. There were other attempts on me, just using transportation. Yeah, it was multiple ones, multiple time, multiple attempts on me. And when they tried to steal my little doggie, and it was Lavender actually that they tried to steal. Hey, yes, my little baby Lavender had recently passed away in December 14th of 2025. I'm still adjusting to that. Yeah, he was here. Lavender was here for 2 years, and he succumbed. May he rest in peace. But either way, it was when they tried to steal him. And it wasn't the first time they tried to grab him because he was so adorable. Everybody loved Lavender. He was well loved. But either way, when that happened, I said enough is enough. I want out of here. I started to feel trapped. I was feeling trapped with the current migration situation at the time in 2023. I lived in the heart of the belly of the beast of migrants who started to get ugly and started to demanding rights. I don't know how someone who is illegal has any lawful legal rights to anything but shackles and to be thrown out of the country, in my opinion. It was getting that rough, and it was grand theft that was happening in America. And they were feeling like they were more entitled than those who were born and raised here. And again, I am a veteran. Um, so I really took it kind of personal, you know, the behaviors of these specific individuals that were um, violating the laws and stealing and terrorizing the local population. But again, I'm not from Minnesota, and it's come to my light that Minnesota has a very large Somali population. But it's not just that there's a large population there. There are populations of many different ethnic groups around, throughout the country. But what's in particular is that it is being found out that there is a massive fraud, and that someone had taught them the system, that a crack in the wall, so to speak, was found, and that the news spread within that community, and that there is a grand um, economic harming to the American system of fraud. And in particular, they're using a transportation system that they somehow get the money for these vehicles to transport people, children to school, allegedly, adults to facilities. Um, what else? Uh, I'm not sure about if it was insurance in there, but again, they're about the schools. There's a growing number of schools all over, but no students in them. There are no students in these schools. And you had a private investigator who went to the scene. They were doing what the government should have been doing, and they released information, and they got some very candid views. And I remember how angry I was. And if they want to cry, well, we're citizens. Well, many of you were naturalized. And there's always a stipulation when someone gives you a beautiful gift. It's like a child and a parent. And the parent says, I'll give you this. But it's understood that you're going to get good grades, you're going to be well behaved. And if you violate my trust in you, I want to lavish you with the beautiful gifts because I love you and I respect your space. But you violate certain expectations of you, I might even pull away that gift. Okay. So I think that's what happened. There was a violation to such a degree, and a smack in the face. And they're not even trying to hide it, this grand theft, allegedly. And it's just thrown to your face. I mean, to have transportation, and this transportation hasn't moved in months, and no, it's in the snow, and there's no footprints of people ever coming in and out, but yet they're getting paid based on a daily alleged usage of this transportation, of these child daycare centers, adult daycare centers, and other types of alleged businesses. And I'm angry. And so when I got the news from watching this person's video, and I think the person who did the video was from a native of South Africa, I felt like, wow, I am very pleased, actually. I am thrilled that someone is waking up and saying, enough is enough. See, you can hide behind the history of race and racism in America, but what you can't hide behind for long is theft. No one wants to invite someone in their home and to bite the hand that feeds you. Someone is feeding you, literally. They are protecting you within their borders of safety. You don't have to worry about a terrorist knocking in your door, stealing you, selling you into slavery or whatever. You have abundant food. Your children are safe inside the borders of the US. You're thriving, but you're thriving due to theft and massive threat. And you don't have people from the Somali community outing them or saying, hey guys, we are guests in their country. And some of us even became naturalized, and you're biting the hand that feeds you. Stop it, community. You don't have that. But you have Somalis getting defensive and saying, well, other groups are stealing. This is a bad response. That is a very immature response. You should say enough is enough. Just like during the pandemic that happened in 2020, that started in 2020, I should say. And I remember in 2021, there was a large number of people because of what they looked like, that because they looked like Chinese people, anybody of the Mongoloid race walking around in certain cities were being physically assaulted. And next door to me at the time, I lived in Midtown Manhattan, and literally next door, the next building to my left, a woman of Filipino ancestry got physically assaulted. It was horrible, and then stomped on. She survived it miraculously. And I posted a video back then because see, a lot of I'm going to say it. What's wrong is wrong. And at that time, you had a large number of people in the Black community, whether Black Americans, Blacks from other parts of the world living in the United States, were physically assaulting people who they perceived. And again, a lot of our perceptions are inaccurate. They were not Chinese. And it's not the Chinese race that were doing it. It was people from their government in China that released the pathogen out to the planet. And also to add that it wasn't them that created that virus, it was created in the US in this university on the East Coast in America. And these students took it and brought it over to China. And the rest is history. And so you have to put light on that yes, you had scientists or government behind it, but you also had American University that was behind it also. But we didn't go and violate or to assault people who go to that university, or the teachers, or the leaders of that school. I'm not going to even give the name, but you do your research and you're going to find out what university was behind it. but it's one of the oldest universities. That's all I'll say. So I felt it was necessary back then, 2021, to say stop it. And I addressed specifically the Black American or Black community in America to stop assaulting Asian people. Stop it. I felt it was necessary. It's either you are behind the wickedness or you expose it. No one wants any virus in their home, but it is not right to assault people because they just look like someone from a particular country, and you're not even correct about that. So I said, enough is enough. Stop the assault. It's wrong to do that. So I feel that Somalis should do the same thing and say, hey, people from the community, stop stealing from the hand that feeding you. You started a business, have a lawful business. You want to have a child care a daycare center, then have one and have children in there and provide a good product. But that is not being done. And I never hear anyone from that community speaking out and saying, stop it. So I just felt that it was important to say. So the community should speak out. And it's not evil to speak out against your own. It's either it's right or wrong. Look at the Jesus of the Bible. Jesus spoke out against the criminals from his community, the leaders. The leaders were criminal in their behavior. They were legalists. They were not of God. He outed them. Yeah, there's a price to pay to expose what is wrong. But at least you'll be able to sleep well at night in the sense that, hey, your conscience is clear. You want to go to sleep with a clear conscience. So I'm hearing that they're being deported. Those who are naturalized. See, a lot of people are going to try to spin it and say, oh, they're taking American citizens and they're kicking them out. No, naturalized. So you have to be truthful, people. They're taking naturalized citizens who violated severely trust. It's like committing adultery. When you marry someone, when you're legally married to somebody, there is an agreement, and you violate that agreement, you could terminate it, right? Same thing. You get married onto the family called America, Americans, and then you commit adultery against that country through a violation of trust and massive stealing in the billions and billions of dollars, and then uh, attacking people for exposing it is another violation. So when I found out that a law, something is being passed, or that as of March of this year, 2026, it's January now, that they would be deported. And I am so thrilled at that. I'm tired of being mocked, the country being mocked. When you allow a thief in your house and you turn a blind eye, they're thinking, what a stupid host. They think Americans are stupid. See, they know what the rules are in their home country, and they know they can't get away with it. I dare those people from Somalia to go to Saudi Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula, and do the same thing. Why didn't they go to places like there? They have the same religion. Why don't they go there? Because America and Americans are extremely, extremely generous. Americans are generous people in nature because of its um, religious history. We are far from perfect. And yes, history has the infamy that happened in the Americas, but still, it is better than a lot of countries. In spite its history of enslavement, it is extremely, extremely generous in its social programs. You just have to find out about them. And you see all these people from other countries are finding out about the programs. How is it that they find out about the programs and you don't? So that is concerning. But either way, they found a crack in our walls and they're exploiting it. And there was so much outcry. And when this YouTuber, in collaboration with another uh, researcher, uh, joined forces and exposed what seems very apparent. And they had government documents to substantiate their claim that they seems to be an alleged fraud, massive fraud. I commend the current administration in America to do that and to deport them. I am thrilled. I can't be more thrilled at this. And some people use the race card, because they're minorities or black people. America, let's stop the nonsense. I am an American. And yes, I am a Black American and a Black American, a female veteran. And when I see people who are exploiting the trust that America has for its citizens, its naturalized citizens, I feel that the U.S. government has a right to pull away the gift. Because the gift was assumed that you're going to obey the rules and not bite the hand that feeds you and not steal from it and be blazingly disrespectful of the culture, the system, and the wealth of the country. And to take those millions of dollars, I mean, over 80% of this community is on public assistance of some form. Over 80%, allegedly. So you're not even contributing. You are being a leech. And here with the alleged massive stealing from our government, you're still on top of it collecting government for federal and state funding. And then you're taking that money and you're bringing it to the alleged country of violation that allegedly violated your freedom. And that's why you sought refuge to America. I am so pleased to hear that somebody's waking up. Please deport any group, any naturalized citizen who is stealing from the government and have them pay back that money. They should be arrested and then deported. But it's going to cost money if you keep them in the country in jails because it's so massive. Deport them and that they're never allowed back in America is what I say. That is what I say. Yeah, it's not about race. See, they're using the race card. And I believe that they deliberately taught these individuals from this community deliberately because it is a plan, I believe. I believe that they were set up in these cities and instructed what to do to steal from the government so they can send US dollars, your hard earned US dollars, to terrorist groups overseas to be used against us, to attack us someday soon. Yeah, that's what I believe. You have so many people, you should really vet out these new groups that come into your country because they're not showing allegiance to America, but they're showing allegiance to the country they come from and supporting the country that they come from rather than the country that is embraced them, that are protecting them, that are educating them. You can't get what you are getting from your own country and the uh, religious group that you come from. They would not do it. You don't work, you don't eat in those countries. You don't work, you don't eat. And so I I'm just offended. So thank you, administration, the current administration, this January 2026. Thank you if you keep your bargain, the end of the bargain, that in March of this year, that you going to denaturalize them and throw them out of the country. What a wonderful moment. And please just don't do that demographic, but any ethnic group that is found doing the same thing, all of them deport who are in violation and doing anti-American things. Throw them out. Yes. So the next topic I want to talk about, I'm getting a lot of videos about the country in Iran, the country Iran, I should say. And they're having a lot of social unrest. And I'm getting these videos that there are a lot of converts. These stories that I'm getting of people having dreams in particular about the man in white. That is how they describe it, the man in white in their dreams. And they're being visited by the man in white to to uh, um, come to Christianity, come to follow the Christ. That is amazing. Excuse me. That is amazing, people. Yeah, I was, how do you say? Yeah, many years ago, I too had a dream about the man in white. Interesting to word it like that, but yeah, I had a dream about a man in white. He's wearing a white robe. I did not see the face, but I saw the figure, and I was with a group of other young ladies. They looked like from maybe 16 to maybe 25 or something like that, or even younger. You know, no, a more narrower age range, I mean. Yeah, they were all young, all female. They were wearing all white, like white dresses. It was very like a linen dress. Um, you saw their arms and part of their legs. I think their knees were covered. And they were swaying, and they were in a large circle. And inside the circle was clear, nothing was inside. And this man in white came, and we were going to do a game, a spiritual game, and all the ladies in the circle we would throw up a big white sheet, and then we will lie on our backs before the rests on the ground. And then this person in white, man in white, will walk upon us, our belly, and it's supposed to have been imparting a gift upon us. And then when it was my turn, when I was underneath the sheet, uh, I had an activation of my solar plexus, as I word it now. Again, back then, this was in 1990, and I didn't know exactly what it was at the time, but it was a chakra activation. And it's the only time I had that type of dream. And I was in Christianity, active, a new active member of a church life back then in 1990. Um, so I think it is possible to have these dreams of the man in white. But I have to admit, I am no longer a Christian. I no longer follow the religion. I no longer go to church. I was an active member for many years, from my early 20s to my 50s. So that was all my adult life, I would say. I do not regret it. I do believe, it's okay to like Christianity just there are some nice doctrines in the New Testament that is universal in nature, universal laws, love thy neighbor, Um, yeah, there are universal laws that it's beneficial to humanity. But I don't believe in the institution of the religion. It's a lot of corruption in the religion. Religion is just that, something that is man-made. But either way, you have a growing number of people in the Islamic world and in Iran who are getting these dreams of the man in white. And it is said that in uh, the culture there in the Islamic world, that dreams are very important, and it's believed that God can talk in dreams, and they take these dreams, these spiritual dreams, very seriously, and they are coming to know Christ. So I think it's interesting. But when I was listening, I started asking myself a question, and this is a very deep question. And if it's incorrect in any way, my apology. But I had to ask myself a question because of my background, even outside of my religious background, but other experiences that I had outside of religion that I experienced. And that is, are these people being targeted? Are these targeted individuals, what they call TIs, targeted individuals that through technologies? Are these people being zapped by technology? That is there a system being broadcast in the Islamic world that is being used stealthfully upon this population? And why do I ask that? Well, I heard about this technology some years ago, and that it's a technology based on using microwave. And this microwave uh, is something that could reach inside the skull of the person. And they can talk to you remotely. They could even make you see things that aren't there. They can make you see religious figures. They can make you hear religious figures in your head. So seeing, hearing, experiencing what seems like supernatural. And it is being um, a technology, this microwave that's being targeted in the ear and landing on certain people. And I'm wondering whether certain families are being targeted. And you had people who are members of the ruling families in the Middle East. You know, like their parents might have a high seat in the government, you know, or in the religious institution, and they're seeing the same type of dream. And so I'm wondering, well, if this is a God, a true God, why would this God only talk to certain people? And it's not like the whole community, like, boom. Why is it only certain members in the community? Why, if you have power, I mean, really, if you are alleged God or the Son of God, why are they only discussing converting certain people? So it seems very specific. Who are these individuals? Why just those individuals? You got to think. You have to think why. Why are certain people being targeted and others are not? Why don't they get the head guy of the religion and give a dream onto him? Why aren't they doing that? Wouldn't that be more effective? To get the leader of the religion and say, "Hey, I am such and such. Why are you persecuting?" Right? But that's not happening. Why isn't this Jesus or the man in white? Why aren't they targeting the leaders of these countries, of these terrorist groups over the world? Why does this person only handle certain people? You need to start doing thinking. You remember this thing that was done some years ago, that it was somewhere in the Middle East. It was wartime, and the U.S. had these microwave devices on trucks, and they aimed it at a selected group of soldiers, Islamic soldiers in this other country, and the message allegedly said, this is Allah. Please put down your weapons, something to that effect. And the people put down the weapons and surrendered to the enemy. And I'm believing that the same type of thing could be happening today. I don't understand Jesus who could, in war-torn areas, talk to certain individuals. How come this Jesus is not talking to, let's say, rapists or murderers in these communities? And you have these people crying out for help, crying out for help. And this Jesus doesn't come to their rescue. So it seems like that this God or Jesus is selective who they want to talk to and who they don't, who they want to save and who they don't. This is not of God. This is not a God I would want to follow. That you have these defense. Isn't the Bible, don't they say that that this God is the defender of women and children, and you have massive a number of women and children who are being trafficked today. But this alleged Jesus or the Christ is selective who he talks to in their sleep. A selective Christ slash Jesus is selective. He'll be holy to certain people, and other people he turns a blind eye. I think we better wake up. I don't think this is the Jesus, a real Jesus, or the Christ. I think this is technology, and they select who they want to select. This is what I believe. But if any of them is actually being talked to, excuse me, my battery's getting low. A message just prompted up. Yeah, if anybody is actively being reached out to by the Christ, so be it. But it still doesn't make sense. Why only reach out to certain people for salvation? And others, you just let go. It does. It sounds disorganized, and God is very organized. I thought so. I thought God's supposed to be all wisdom and knowledge and truth. But you got a so-called Christ that's selective who he talks to, who he protects. People, please open your eyes. You can believe in anything you want to believe. I mean, the beautiful things that are taught in the New Testament. But, certain goodness is universal, the laws of goodliness, that it's universal in nature. The, and it's something that anyone could embrace. Why enslave yourself to another religious system? And remember, when Christianity started, it was really no different than some of those religious states out there in the Middle East. It was doing things. It was committing massive genocide on populations. Remember that. Christianity started out with a lot of bloodshed. The institution, massive, massive destruction. And now it can just chill out a little bit because it has its power. It has its power structure. So these are just things that I'm just thinking of, and cause me to think what's really going on. A religious movement that only certain people get reached out to. And again, I did have that dream of the man in white too. But it's so many questions. And is this history that we're even being taught, is it real? I'm learning about this thing, what they call the massive flood story. And they're finding buildings under the mud. And people are saying that, hey, this is a technology that started allegedly, and they're making you think that it's something that started a long, 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 long time ago, but it could actually be something, a new history, a relatively new history, and that it was a reset that happened sometime, some number of years ago. And they're passing it off as something ancient, or something to that effect. We're not being told the true history of humanity. You have this individual who's teaching OBE, out of body experience, and he allegedly is tapping into the different heavens that are out there, and is seeing allegedly um, this library, this resource library, so to speak, of about humanity, about our history. Yeah, I think we're being lied to. I think we're being lied to. That their history seems to be it seems to be a new history, and they use a religion. They're using um, things to cover history to control us. Wouldn't it be great if we could just control ourselves without these institutions? People are dying. People are being beaten because they don't even wear, they may not wear their covering correctly. Their ankles are showing. I don't understand a God who creates women in particular to be very curvy and alluring to men, and then penalize her because she looks attractive. This God. I don't want a God like that. People start waking up. I thank you for listening, and please share your story. Did you see the man in white? Are you getting dreams about these visitations of this spiritual man? They want you to change from one religious institution to another, and the history of the other religion is just as violent. Are you free? Are you truly free? Are you being lied to in history? Let's start opening our eyes. Let's start using common sense and logic to try to peel through the veil. I thank you again. And again, please share your insights, your experiences down below. What do you know? What are your experiences? Have you seen the other side of the veil? Please share your story. Thank you again, and have a wonderful, wonderful, safe, and blessed day. Bye bye.